Hope you've all had a pleasant weekend. I appreciate it's maybe not the Monday morning where you are. It might not even be morning where you are. I'm just reflecting on the time and space in which I inhabit. I have to go with the flow of where I find myself. I'm not sure why I do these things in the morning. I'm not entirely tuned for the day, calibrated. I'm still a bit fuzzy, but for some reason I get these ideas quite early in the morning, usually before I'm out of bed, and I think, yeah, it's time to do one of those. Anyway, it's all been very busy this weekend. We have a new member in our family, and that's great to see when you have a bonding of two souls, two spirits, two human beings, call it what you wish, devoting their lives to each other in a ceremony which they hope and we hope will continue for many, many years. Sometimes been accused of overcomplicating things, and therefore today I'm going to try and simplify. It's difficult to sometimes convey a message which is essentially is quite a simple message. But it's like when I guess with teachers at school, with children, nursery class, Sunday school, whenever you're trying to present something complex in a simplified form, you need to kind of, I think as an Americanism, dumb down the message, just cut it down to little chunks that you can digest. So this is quite a message, but it's just a little chunk of a bigger message. You can call it philosophical if you like. It comes from a movie that I've very much enjoyed as a boy. Well, actually, this is an 80s movie, so I guess I was a kind of late teenager at the time I saw it. It's called Short Circuit. It's got a robot that develops artificial intelligence. It's given a chip. We used to call them microchips, silicon chips, whatever. You get them in your phone, in your iPad, in your car. Almost any electronic device nowadays automatically has a little chip in it. It's a form of intelligence. Some would like to think that could be expanded, and even back in the 80s, that was an ambition, that we could have microchips. And if you had enough microchips, who knows? You could really start to have almost like a human intelligence. So here we go. We've got this character. It's called Johnny 5. It's a robot with an intelligence. He's created by human beings. Now, I don't have a wee Johnny 5. Sorry, this is apologies in advance. This is the best I can do. But here he is. Right, Johnny. Right, Johnny 5. This wee guy thinks he is human because what's happened is he's been kidnapped and he's been taken out of his environment, his laboratory or wherever he was, his storage facility, and I'm going on memory here. It's a long time ago since I saw this movie. I think the scientist guy took him. He wanted to do some work on him, and effectively, he was misfunctioning. He was doing stuff he wasn't supposed to do. What's he doing now? And then he takes him back, and Johnny's in the house, and while he's in the house, awaiting surgery or whatever, he starts mucking around and he's watching things, he's learning, he's watching the TV at one point, he's watching cartoons, he's watching Western movies, he tries to do a John Wayne voice, he starts mimicking, he starts becoming what he thinks he's supposed to be. And that seems to be going okay, because he is a very clever computer. He's designed with a lot of storage, memory, whatever, so that he can process a lot of data. I think he initially had a military purpose or an espionage thing, but clearly he can be he's multifunctional. He can do other stuff. Yeah. So instead of being a military robot, he's becoming more of a civilian, and he's effectively becoming, everything he sees. He's just copying what he sees, and he's in the garden with the girlfriend of the scientist, Stephanie, and he's looking around, and she's got this. She's got bad news for him. Like, sorry, Johnny, but we're going to have to recall you. We're going to check you out. Disassemble you. He's like, what? Disassemble? What is that? Disassemble? He's like, that's a new word. Yes, I know. It's like, so I know what this means. I know this word. Uh, break apart, um, undone, dismantle, disassemble. Yeah, yeah. You're right. Right. Sorry, but that's we're going to. You'll be fine. They're going to have to just. You got a screw loose, mate. They need to find out what's going on in here. Cool. Okay. So he's happy with that. He sees something in the garden. He's like, oh, there's an insect in the garden. Grasshopper. Orthopedic insect. He starts following the grasshopper. And that's like, and then, oh, grasshopper. It's okay, Johnny. Just squash the grasshopper. It's squash? Squash? What's squash? Squash means dismantle. Dismantle, disassemble, break apart. Make it alive. Stephanie, reassemble. No, Johnny, you can't do that. It's dead. Dead? Dead? Dismantle, disassemble. Dead! So here it is. Johnny's figured it out. It's not good news. He's getting disassembled and he doesn't like it. He's gone. Right. So he's away in the van. He's learning to drive. Stephanie chases after him. What he doesn't realise is it's not the end. Technology within him can be removed. So this, at the core, there's a brain of a sort, CPU, central processing unit. It can be transported from one robotic frame, a body, to another. So even if, because later on in the movie, Johnny runs into trouble, gets badly beaten up, virtually destroyed. But it's not a message of death. Okay, just let's establish that. Essentially, it's a message of the ability to transplant intelligence from one frame to another. And essentially, the human part of Johnny, which they're worried about, because it's not supposed to be, thinking and behaving like a human being. Delusional. They want to wipe that part of his memory out. Essentially, get him back to what he's supposed to be doing. He's like a killer robot spy type machine. But he's kind of evolved beyond that. He's become something else, and he wants to keep that. It's not difficult to grasp. We all have technology. We all have the ability to. We all play games. I'm sure most children now, and certainly a lot of adults play computer games. Yeah. Yeah. So if you've ever played these games for any length of time, you know that you can save your position so that if you die in the game or you crash, as I often do, because I spend a lot of time in Flight Simulator and trying out different aircraft, and sometimes it's difficult to land in certain places, like if the runway's too small, or if it's like an aircraft carrier or something tricky, you might crash. That's a bit of a bummer. So if you've saved, you can save at certain points where you're still on final approach. Try it again, crash, final approach, crash, final approach. You can keep going back as many times as it takes to actually complete the mission or the game, whatever it is you do. And kids don't think twice about that. Of course you can do that. I mean, what's special about that? Well, when I was growing up, that was quite a revelation when you started having that technology. Because originally computer games, you couldn't do that. It was just like you died. The games were much more simple in some ways. And yeah, so you can save not just position in a game, you can save a character, you can save a whole scenario. If you play strategic games, a world, literally. So that's interesting. Children get that. It's not difficult. Of course you can save. It's just an automatic thing. Why is that significant? Well, let's go back to Johnny Five. Johnny Five, the creator, was made by scientists, clever people. Hello. He did not know much about his creator, and he didn't really know much about himself, but he learned a lot. And slowly but surely, he started to see things in himself and in the world around him that he liked and he didn't like. And he didn't like the fact that he could be dismantled. He didn't realise, though, that he could be reassembled in a new frame or a new body or with new parts, and essentially not just be as good as he once was, but even better. Which he becomes like a supercomputer in the movie. Well, a kind of hybrid of the human Johnny and this kind of like more of a killer sort of superpower Johnny. And it does have a good ending, because he doesn't lose what he's gained. He doesn't lose his humanity despite these new powers. And he doesn't. The people that love him, they see something there that they want to keep. They want to protect him from the scientists that just want to make him back into a killer robot, because they see something's happened here. It's worth keeping. If we can understand this simple story of a robot and the progress of intelligence and the ability to save something from impending death and put it into a new frame, why is it so difficult to assume or believe that we might have a creator that can do something similar with us? Just a thought.